Hello there everybody, how we doing? My name is Cole Martins and thank you guys for watching Giraffe Sports. In today's episode we're going to be talking about week 6 in the NFL. A lot of interesting weeks so far this year, and now every team is at least 1/4 of the way done with the season. This week the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints will have the week off, so they'll get their time to rest and heal up. But for the rest of the NFL, they will be in action, so 15 games of action this week. So far this season, my overall record on my picks is 47-29, and last week I was able to go 12-3 overall in my picks. Now let's head to Week 6 action, as we'll start off with the Thursday night game and tonight's game, as the Indianapolis Colts will take on the Houston Texans. Indianapolis last week coming up with a win over the Baltimore Ravens. Andrew Luck once again looking pretty good, not as good as he was the last 2 weeks going against two struggling teams, but still was able to get the victory for his team and get the third win of the year for that team and their third win in a row as well after starting 0-2. And the Texans last week losing in overtime to the Dallas Cowboys, as that offense just seemed like couldn't get that much running, but the defense did a pretty good job containing this very powerful Cowboys offense, but was not good enough as they did come out with a loss. Now, in this game, I think it's going to be a very, very good game between these two. A battle for the AFC South lead right here between these two, as they both are 3-2 right now. And in this one, I am going to go with the home team, the Houston Texans. I believe that offense is going to get some stuff going here in this game. I believe Adrian Foster once again this week is going to have another great game. And don't be surprised if that defense starts to get onto Andrew Luck. And I expect J.J. Watt to have at least a sack or two in this game. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans over the Indianapolis Colts 24-21. Our next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns. If you remember this game from week 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a very, very good lead in this game, but the Cleveland Browns once again came back and tied the game, but luckily for the Steelers, they had one more chance to get the ball, and they did a great job with that and made a field goal to win the game. Now these two go back at it at week 6, and Pittsburgh picking up the win this week as they play the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they only beat them by 8 points, but a W is a W, and Pittsburgh back on their up ways on their up and down season. And for the Cleveland Browns, after a bye week 2 weeks ago, they played the Tennessee Titans and looked like they were getting a beat up in that one, as they were down by 25 at half. But the Browns and Hoyer came back and won the game by 1 point by winning 29-28. And the Browns, I think my most impressed team I'm most impressed with so far this year is the Cleveland Browns. It is a surprising team. They are now 2-2 on the season. And after this game, I believe they're going to go to 3-2 on the season, as I'm taking the Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe Cleveland, the entire team, has just been looking very good so far. Yes, they get down early. That is going to be an Achilles heel for them if they cannot fix that. But in this one, I believe they're going to keep with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're going to win this one at home in the dog pound, 17-14. Next game is also a battle in the division for the AFC East lead, as the New England Patriots will take on the Buffalo Bills. New England, a team that I was quite scared about after watching their beginning of the season, as they seemed like that offense could not get anything clicking. But last week they proved that their offense is back and Brady can still play, as Brady and that offense, also the defense as well, had a very good game as they beat up and gave the Cincinnati Bengals their first loss of the season. So New England looks like they're getting back on track. Buffalo also coming off a very impressive win last week as they beat the Detroit Lions on a late field goal by Carpenter, who had a very good game, and Kyle Orton, who led this team to the victory in his first start of the season, replacing E.J. Manuel. And this one is in Buffalo, and that's going to be this is a huge game for Buffalo fans, as they've only gotten one win against New England Patriots in 21 attempts. And I just don't believe they're going to get the win in this one, as I am going to go with the New England Patriots. This offense is now rolling again for the first time all season. I do not see it stopping. I believe Brady's going to throw at least for 2 touchdowns in this game. And don't be surprised if Gronk gets one of those catches. And keep an eye on Wright as well, as last week he had a very, very good game at the tight end position as well. So the New England Patriots trying to get that two-headed tight end monster back, and I'm going to pick the New England Patriots over the Buffalo Bills, 28-17. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Carolina just seems like they have some issues they're trying to figure out lately this couple weeks, as now they did get the win last week over the Chicago Bears in a very tough match against them. But the since Carolina team, I just feel like Cam Newton's still trying to figure some stuff out and trying to make sure he's okay with his ankle and ribs, trying to protect that a little bit more. Unlike he was in week 2 against the Detroit Lions, now he's a little more protective. So we'll see how that goes these next couple weeks. But Carolina is still looking like a pretty good team right now, as now they're going against a team that just suffered their first loss of the season last week. The Cincinnati Bengals, who I just mentioned a little bit ago, got beat up by the New England Patriots. And speaking of getting beat up for the Cincinnati Bengals, their star wide receiver AJ Green was carted out the field on Wednesday with a very, very bad turf toe injury. There's another name for it, but I cannot remember. But it was just like a turf toe, but worse. So they're saying AJ Green is going to be out this week and most likely next week as well. So they are losing a huge spot in the wide receiver position. And Sanu, I believe they said, did not practice at all. So that's their second pretty much wide receiver is hurt as well. So that is an issue for the Cincinnati Bengals. And that is actually why I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers. With the Cincinnati Bengals offense hurt and the defense, where we don't know if they're going to show up like last week or like they've been all season, I'm going to take the Panthers. I believe Cam Newton is going to make some runs on the ground and make some a big effect in the game. Try to lure that Bengals defense in and then finally get some balls in the air and hit Benjamin a couple times in the end zone, I could see. And Greg Olsen as well, I could see getting in the end zone. And the Carolina Panthers winning this one over the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, 27-17. Our next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville still looking for their first win of the year, but looking better each week, I do believe, as they did lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but only by 8 points. They were not able to put a touchdown on the board in that game, but I do believe Bortles looking better and better each week, as it looks like he's starting to understand that offense more and more. And that defense starting to look a little better as well, as this week they will be taking on another struggling team in the Tennessee Titans. I looked like Tennessee was going to pick up their second win of the season last week, but fell off short, and the team just pretty much gave up in the second half as they allowed the Browns to come back from 25 points down and beat them by 1 at home. And once again, Tennessee is at home this week. But I'm going to give, for my first time this year, I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just believe Bortles is going to have a good game in this one. And I just believe that passing game is going to go very well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have some very good receivers on that team, and I believe they can take advantage of the Tennessee Titans defense. As I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Tennessee Titans in this one, 20-10. Next, we had the Green Bay Packers taking on the Miami Dolphins. Green Bay last week with a demolishing win of the Minnesota Vikings, as Aaron Rodgers, Nelson, and Cobb all looking very good, as this offense clicking more and more each week, I believe, and they are showing that they are one of the top teams in the NFC right now, even though they do have 2 marks on their record. And this week they will take on a Miami team who is trying to stay in the hunt for the division, as last week they had the week off, and that might help them a little bit try to heal some of their players. As Marino, right now, I don't know where his status is of him when he's coming back, but it would be a huge help if he could come back sooner or later here, as Ryan Tannehill, I think, needs a break a little bit, as this great receiving team, and Tannehill an average quarterback in my mind, and if he can hit his receivers, this team can have a very, very good game. But the defense for the Miami Dolphins are going to have to step up a lot in this one, going against Aaron Rodgers. And I just do not see Miami beating Aaron Rodgers in this one. Aaron Rodgers is just too good of a quarterback, and he has 2 very good wide receivers, and actually more than probably 2. He has a lot of good wide receivers, at least all 4 starters on that team. Seems like they're great. And I have the Green Bay Packers going to Miami and beating the Miami Dolphins 31-10. Our next game is the Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings. As Detroit this week last week suffered another loss, their second loss of the season, to the Buffalo Bills, as Detroit lost Calvin Johnson once again, as in the second half when he made his first catch of the game, got hit in the ankle and believe he hurt even more, as he's pretty much had no time to heal that ankle, and they do believe he is going to sit out this week against the Minnesota Vikings. If he does play, it's going to be very limited. But Detroit, they still have Golden Tate, who has been a great receiver to fill in for Calvin Johnson this year, which is nothing the Lions had in previous years when Johnson was out. And Stafford this week, if this team's going to win, I do believe Stafford has to be a little more accurate, as last week Stafford just seemed like he struggled throwing the ball and hitting his receivers. So that's a key for the Lions. Minnesota last week getting dominated by the Green Bay Packers offense. And luckily this week they are going against a team that is not going to have Calvin Johnson. And actually, I forgot to mention that Reggie Bush also, I believe, a question mark coming in this game, as the Lions running backs pretty much hurt, as all three now are down. As for the Minnesota team, they might be able to take advantage of that. Teddy Bridgewater is coming back this week. Asiata, a very good backup running back, filling in for Adrian Peterson, who just had his court case scheduled for December 1st, for those that were wondering about that. So it seems like right now he is going to be out for the rest of the season. So Asiata, again, has been taking up the load at the running back position. But a very, very good team in Minnesota if they can get things rolling. In this one, I think this is going to be a very, very close game. The Minnesota offense, I believe, is going to be pretty healthy in this one, but the Detroit offense isn't. But I believe the key to this game is going to be the Detroit Lions defense, and that is why I believe the Detroit Lions are going to win this one. Even without Calvin Johnson, I believe the Lions' rushing defense, and so far the number one defense in the NFL as of right now, is going to be able to take care of the Minnesota offense, and the Detroit Lions are going to win this one 14-10. And the last game on this segment, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, this is going to be one of two segments. If you want to watch the second segment, there will be a link below in the description. You just click on that and it can take you straight to segment 2. But our last one is going to be the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets. Denver last week picking up the win as they beat, the Arizona Cardinals in a very good game there in Denver, as they gave Arizona their first loss of the season. And Denver now coming into this one going against a struggling New York Jets team, as the Jets could not pick up the W against the San Diego Chargers. They got shut out against the Chargers, as Geno Smith was benched in that game and put Michael Vick in, and Michael Vick seemed like he didn't do anything as well, as this is the first time he started in probably a while, if I'm thinking right. But they did say Geno Smith is going to start again this week against Denver, and this might actually be the final time we see Geno Smith start, as I believe this is going to be the final time, as I believe Michael Vick will take over after this game, or maybe in the second half again this week. I forgot to mention this too. Congratulations to Peyton Manning, by the way. Last week he threw for over 500 career touchdown passes. I believe he has 501 now after the game was done. So congratulations to you, Peyton Manning. And we all know in at least a week or two here you're going to break Brett Favre's career record. So we'll just have to wait and sit on that and see when that will happen. But Peyton Manning, the second quarterback ever to throw for 500 touchdowns in his career. As in this one, I believe Peyton Manning will once again at least throw for 4 in this game against the Jets, as this struggling Jet secondary is going to allow Denver to take a lot of deep throws down the field. And I'm going to take Denver beating the New York Jets in East Rutherford 35-10. So that is it for segment 1. Once again, if you want segment 2, just go and look in the description below and click on the link. I'll take you right there. I'd like to hear what you guys got to say about this video. Which games are you most excited for? Who do you think is going to win these games here in segment 1? What players do you think are going to have a breakout game here? I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. If you could please like this video and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. You can also follow my Twitter pages, as you can follow my sports Twitter page at NewsGiraffe. You can also follow my Twitter page at ColeMartins57. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.